left, right.
Yo, what's up, my friends? This episode is a recap of the past several years' gift guides that I put together. So, if you're looking for gifts to buy your friends, relatives, or people you want to give stuff to, this is a great gift guide. You can also check out my LinkedIn. Since 2015, I've published an annual gift guide right around Black Friday every year. So, this is just to give you guys some good ideas or some good gifts to give. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I left anything out that I should be gifting to people I care about, and let me know what you like best. I'll see you guys on the other end. This is SipTalk. Grab a drink and enjoy.
Of course, it's good.
Cheers.
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 This is SipTalk, episode 150. Welcome, James. What's going on?
Welcome back to the United States.
I'm happy to be here. So, episode 150. Little recap. This is SipTalk, the show where we sip and we talk. My name is Justin DeJulia out of my basement in New Jersey. I am joined, as always, by James the Bosnator Boswell out of Charleston, South Carolina. James is a philosopher, an accountant, a professional referee, and a bartender. What we're going to talk about today, because it is 150th episode, and this is something I think is pretty cool, is we're going to talk about the past several years' gift guides. So last year we did a live cast with gift suggestions for 2020. We plan to do a gift guide for 2021, but I thought it might be a little fun today if we talk about some past gift ideas, because I know people need a little extra lead time this year because shipping times are really screwed up and it's tough to buy anything. So we'll get into the gifts in just a second, because I got stocking stuffers, I got some big ticket gifts. I've been doing gift guides since 2015. So
You want to hit some current events real quick?
well, yeah. So we were talking about Trump, but a second ago, because you're talking about how shitty the U.S. is.
I'm talking about how shitty it will become if he gets reelected.
Okay, but
There's lots of problems right now, but they'll be worse in 2 years.
did you hear about the Chinese tennis star?
The one that disappeared?
Yeah, so she complained about, like, she said somebody high up in Chinese government was sleeping with her kind of against her will, and I imagine in a place like China that's pretty plausible. And she wrote like a heartfelt social media post, and then it got removed, and nobody's heard from her in I don't know, weeks or maybe months. You heard about this?
Just a little bit, and I'm not really surprised.
Well, so share with you what I read today.
Because yeah, as many problems as we have, at least we're not China.
Oh, come on. Ad block shit. Peng Shuai, a star Chinese women's tennis player, is missing. And the 35-year-old Peng was the #1 women's doubles leader in the early 2010s, reached as high as 14 in single rankings, and accused a prominent former Chinese politician, Zhang Goli, of sexual assault. In a long impassioned post on China's popular media platform Weibo, she detailed a long relationship with Zhang, who served as vice premier under Xi Jinping, and accused him of having sex with her against her will 3 years ago. So then her post was deleted within minutes, and searches on social media for her were limited only to about her tennis career, and everything was scrubbed from the internet in China. And apparently she wrote a letter. I'm going to see if I can find what the letter says. But let's see. But basically, what the letter says is that she's fine, and she's just resting.
Yep, that checks out.
I'm going to see if I can get a copy of this letter. But yeah, so hello, everyone. This is Peng Shuai. Regarding the recent news related on the official website of the WTA, Women's Tennis Association, I guess, the content has not been confirmed or verified by myself, and it was released without my consent. The news in that release, according to the allegation of sexual assault, is not true. I am not missing, nor am I unsafe. I have just been resting at home and everything is fine. Thank you again for caring about me.
Yeah, what do you think the odds are that she wrote that?
That's the point. It's like, I mean, obviously it's going to be coming somewhere from the Chinese government, and that's a scary place to live, man.
I would never go there even as a tourist.
I'd love to go to China, but it does scare the shit out of me, especially when you have shit like that happening. That's really scary.
No, I wouldn't even go there as a tourist because I'm so afraid of that country. Like, I'd just be afraid that I would get arrested for some bullshit and there'd be no way out.
And literally no way out, because you would have lost all contact. I don't know what your family could try to do to track you down, but it's not like a small place.
No, I mean, I'd be able to write a letter to my family telling that I'm doing fine and resting.
And you have not been arrested and definitely are not in jail.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but that's the Chinese government, and that is why it is scary as hell place. So also, I heard that Apple has basically confirmed through Bloomberg that they're developing a self-driving car. You hear about this?
I'm opposed to that on 2 accounts.
One, you don't like Apple, and what's the other account? You don't like self-driving cars.
Yes.
So here was my thinking with this: is they said it's going to be a hands-off experience, no steering wheel, no pedals. And my next thought was, would you want to be in the driver's seat facing the road? Because that sounds terrifying.
I wouldn't want to be on the road, let alone inside this car. I don't want to be on the road with that car.
Yeah, man. So that was a little freaky, because I just pictured like you're driving in a car and some shit happens and you can just kind of see it happening, and you don't even have a steering wheel. So they said no.
Yeah, there's no like manual override or anything here.
Yeah.
And here's one thing that I've thought about. So in a lot of everyday driving situations, I think self-driving cars with the current technology actually do a pretty good job. But one thing that I've wondered about is, what if they're in like snow? Because they're going to be programmed based on like expected levels of traction and acceleration and like acceptable parameters of G-forces that the car can go through. And those go completely out the window in snow when your traction is like 1/3 what it would be.
Funny you mentioned that. I've thought about like rain and traction like that, but
well, rain's the same case, just not as severe.
There's not as severe. So snow is obviously like your car just may not work that day. That could be pretty freaky.
Either that or you like stuck. Make it to your destination at 3 miles an hour.
Yeah, but how are you? It's not like there's sensors in the road. They're sensing lines in the road. The roads don't have like embedded sensors in the asphalt.
Actually, you just brought up a really good point that I didn't even consider. If it's snowing heavy enough, there's not really lines on the road. There's just snow.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just you're guessing. I've had a couple of times driving back from the city into Jersey, and the rain is so insane, like worse rain than I've ever seen before, and I literally couldn't see in front of me. One of the times I was in the pickup truck being blown back and forth across the road, and I actually pulled off to the side because I'm like, I'm going to get picked up and set down facing a different direction, and there's no weight in the back of a pickup truck, so that was pretty scary. You got anything else in current events, or can we get into the gifts?
The John Deere factory worker strike. You know anything about this?
I've heard nothing about this.
Okay, well, you know John Deere.
Yes, I'm a Toro man myself.
Okay. Well, the 10,000 workers went on strike for roughly the last month or so, because they didn't like the raise that they were being offered. Because the company was had $4 billion in profits last year, and they were offering them something like a 1 or 2% raise. And so the strike just ended, and they got like $8,500 a piece and like a 10% raise.
Wow. All right.
And I think that we're going to see more of this because
it just worked for them. So I think we can see a lot more of this, especially if people can. The thing that makes it easier to have strikes now than it did 20 or 30 years ago is social media and technology communication.
Yeah, but that's balanced out by the fact that legally unions have been weakened severely. There have been so many laws passed to weaken the power of unions in the last 30 years.
Sure, but the unions are basically a place where people can kind of get together, and you don't need a physical place so much anymore as now that you have these social media ways to connect with so many different people. So yeah, I guess it's balanced out a little bit, but I would say that there's a lot more weight on the social media in connectivity end. But good for those employees. I wonder. I mean, John Deere's a huge company, so
I'm hoping that we see more of this because the economic scales have been tilted way too far against not even middle class people, but even like upper middle class people. Like if you're making less than 200 or $500,000 a year, the system's not working for you. And I think that a lot of employers, any employer right now that's complaining about having trouble hiring, I have zero sympathy for. You want to know why?
because of wages,
Because
benefits.
yeah, any employer that's willing to increase their wages and benefits suddenly finds that their pool of potential workers expands.
Yeah, no surprise.
You
No
want good
surprise.
workers, pay. Like, here's an example. How much do you think? So, Charleston, South Carolina. It's been a while since you've been here, but you know that it's cheaper than New York. How much do you think someone working as a cashier at a grocery store in Charleston, South Carolina would be getting right now?
Around $12 an hour.
It's a good guess, but it's now up to like 1650 or so because
Mhm.
people are just like, and it also is coupled with the fact that working with the general public is worse now than it's ever been. It was never great, but
yeah,
but
no,
it's way worse now. So you've got all these jobs where you have to be facing the public on a regular basis, and people are just like, I don't want to do that anymore. Like the general public sucks really hard right now. So in order for me to come in and work retail or customer service or hospitality and have to deal with random people all day long and their complaints and their shitty behavior in this post-COVID era, you're going to need to pay me more.
yeah, I mean, I'm curious how the economy is going to look if this trend keeps going for the next 3 to 4 years. How the economy is going to look in double that amount of time.
It'll be interesting to see the effect of wage pull inflation.
We'll see what happens. Just general inflation also over the next 1 to 3 years. I didn't ask you, so let's good for, but that's news to me. I didn't hear anything about the John Deere thing. Of course, I have been out of the loop for about a week. So let's get onto the gift guide. I want to know what you're drinking first.
You know what I'm drinking.
Fuck, I want to say Coors Light. I know that you were drinking a Bush Ice, and I hope it's cold.
Yes.
It's cold?
Yeah.
All right, nice. I got a nice bottle of a Hendrix here.
Yeah, I was really hoping to have a cocktail with ice from my new ice machine, but that's currently in like West Monroe, Louisiana. It was supposed to be delivered yesterday, and it's not.
So it's delayed. So I heard, and that's why we're doing a little recap before we throw our new 2021 Christmas gift guide out, is so that we can remind people of some past gifts that we've had on past gift guides. But also you got to start getting, if you're ordering online or even going to stores, a lot of places are sold out, and the drag time on getting items shipped to you is insane right now. So and I heard that it's also a major shortage of truck drivers. I don't know if we talked about this last episode. There was a conversation I was having with you, but I guess there's a major shortage of truck drivers. So that's
Yeah,
slowing
that's
things down as
why,
well.
and that has effects at literally every step of the logistical process, from freight getting loaded off of cargo ships all the way to getting delivered to your front door. The truck driver shortage makes things worse. And it's just like if stealing content from Wendover Productions here, but it's just like if you're on a highway where, like, if traffic increases by 25% on the highway, your drive time decreases by more than 25%, because little stoppages and little slowdowns add up. And so,
And compound.
yes, in compound.
Right.
And so, yeah, like you've got all these ships that can't just get their freight off of the boat and onto land. And then because they're so backed up in the ports, it takes them longer to find the container that they needed because the pile's 100 crates high instead of 50. So you have to dig through the pile longer to get to the crate that you need. So it's just a mess. I don't know when it's going to get better either, because truck drivers, just like anybody else, are all realizing you guys need to pay us more.
Yeah, and there's already more money going into that because of the cost of fuel. The cost of fuel has jumped quite a bit, so the whole thing is costing a lot more now. But we'll see some inflation happening. But point is, you got to put in your gift orders now, or they're not going to be here in time for Christmas or whatever other holidays you choose to observe. So, first things first, I wanted to talk about some stocking stuffers. You a big stocking guy?
I wear socks every day.
So I like a little stocking stuffer. That's something you can get some small gifts. You can throw them in a big sock or a nice stocking. And the idea is that they're not like super costly, but they're just kind of fun to open, and it's nice to pull gifts out of a sock. So first one I got, and I was going to talk about this last episode, is if you're giving a gift to a dude, and most of this is kind of man based, but if you're a lady giving to a man, great. If you're a man, put these on your list. Rain-X. I think that's a great stocking stuffer. You a Rain-X user?
No, but that's not to say that it isn't a good product, because it is.
But it's a great product. Actually, I've Rain-X the window on this car a couple of times so far, and then I haven't been driving it the days that it was pouring, so I really missed out on the Rain-X experience. But I've been keeping the windshield perfectly glazed with Rain-X. For those,
how long does the application last?
I think it lasts maybe or so a week, but it really depends on if the sun's beating on your windshield, if you're using your windshield wipers, and also if it's being rained on, because I imagine some wicks off with the rain. But for those of you who aren't familiar with the Rain-X, it's like a glazing that you put on your windshield, and when it rains, you barely have to use your windshield wiper. So the clarity through the window is probably,
the rain just beads up and slides off really well.
It's an incredible product. And
the Rain-X windshield fluid is really good too, because anytime you just blast your windshield, you're getting a small application of it.
Yeah, but it is not as good as the real. I always use the Rain-X windshield wiper fluid that you fill your windshield reservoir with, but nothing beats the actual Rain-X. All right, next one I have, because again, this is stocking stuffer, are some ice molds. If you got a big enough stocking, you get some ice molds. You have some spherical or
yeah, I'm still looking for a really good spherical ice mold, because the ones that I have are kind of spheres, but it's not perfect, and I would really like to get ones that actually make perfect spheres.
Because a lot of times when you throw them in your glass, they kind of turn and shift into whatever oblong.
Yeah, and there's a seam at the middle, and I don't know, there's got to be a better way.
Rosh had some good ones. Maybe we'll find out which ones those were, and we'll
I saw there was an ice press that you take a large ice cube, one of the ones that you have, and you put it in the press, and you can press it into the ice thing, and then it makes a perfect cube, and that thing was $500.
I was gonna say I thought it was $1,500, but they have some nice. I've seen a copper one. I think it was all copper, so that was pretty cool. All right, so we got ice molds on there. I think anybody likes ice molds, even if you just
real quick for anyone who's listening. If you've got cool gift ideas, let us know.
Yeah, if you want to jump in on the Instagram stream too, and check that link in my my Instagram profile, you can call in and verbally give us your gift ideas as well. But yeah, that's what we need right now. So ice molds, I think, even if you're drinking Kool-Aid, you don't have to be drinking a cocktail to enjoy an ice mold. They're just cool. They stay frozen longer because there's less surface area. It's definitely a great gift. And then here's a new one. I don't know if I'm going to put it on the gift list this year, but it was a gift I received my birthday, I think, and that's a no, actually, I think it was last Christmas, a magnetic wristband. So it's a pretty thick wristband that goes around your wrist, and it's kind of got like magnet plates or something in it. So if you're working on something, you can like I use it all the time for like some screws, and I just throw the screws right on here, and that way I can just if I'm on a ladder or something, I don't have to be reaching in my pocket to grab screws. But it's really nifty. Always comes in handy.
So you had me worried there for a second because I thought you were going to talk about how like it balances your auras or some bullshit. But then you said like no, you can put screws or like it's a place for you to put things. And like okay, we're back to safe ground.
We're back. Oh yeah, I got a good one for you actually. That speaking of auras, is it on here? You know what? I'll just do it because I've been burning this stuff all night. So I'm in the basement here, and when I was in Mexico, they had this Palo Santo wood that they were burning everywhere we went, all these restaurants, and they were like talking about how it's good for like your chakras or some shit like that. I don't know. I don't know any of this stuff, but it was also really good at repelling mosquitoes. So they were burning this stuff, and it would keep away all the mosquitoes, and they would just light it on fire and stick it in a little bowl and just let it smoke away. So I don't know. I've just been lighting it in the basement just because I just got some, and the summer's over with, so I'm not worried about the mosquitoes. But it smells decent. It's cool, and it reminds me of Tulum.
Yeah. Anytime someone gets like either incense or a candle for somebody, I'm just like, what you're really telling them is that their house smells.
Yeah, but it's not. I like candles. Candles have been on my list the last couple of years. But yeah, this is what you're supposed to do.
But you know what I'm saying.
I gotcha. I don't want to light this microphone on fire. All right.
I'm laughing. The unofficial motto of Yankee Candle Company is a safe place to fart in the mall.
That's true. This thing,
is it supposed to be that much on fire?
You're supposed to let it burn for like 30 seconds or something, and then you blow it out, and then it just does its thing. So I'll let it burn for a second. So I'm trying to pay attention to the live stream here. And speaking of hot things, my next gift idea as a stocking stuffer is a nice hot sauce.
Scorned Woman.
That's actually what we put on last year, and that was your recommendation.
Stand by it.
All right, so blow this out, leave it in here. We'll see how long that smokes for. A lot of smoke. All right.
Yo, mini bottles.
Mini bottles. Oh yeah, that's a great stocking stuffer too. And then I have playing cards. A nice deck of playing cards. I think would be a cool thing to keep.
High quality, like a really good set of plastic playing cards.
Yeah, playing cards are
good
cool.
Quality ones. Like cheap plastic ones bend and are terrible, but like if you get good ones, like they're really smooth and slippery and they hold up.
So yeah, playing cards, I think something we definitely can both get behind. And that's, I think over the last year in coronavirus, people being locked down, like they had to, a lot of people got so bored just like cruising through Instagram and Facebook and just watching TV that a lot of people reverted back to some actual board games and playing cards. So I thought that was pretty cool. Playing cards definitely.
Like tabletop board games have become really, really big in the last year or so.
Didn't you go to like a board game place or something like that? Wasn't that a thing of yours?
I've always done stuff like that.
Yeah, no, that's cool stuff. And it keeps people away from screens and interacting with each other. So I'm all for it.
Good board games involve interaction with each other.
Yeah, versus Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, which
you're starting to get on board.
Most of that is just antagonizing other people. It's really really rough. Want to say hi to Carmina. What's up, Carmina? Nice to see you here. So the next one I got is a jar of Luxardo cherries. I think Luxardo cherries are a great add-on for lots of drinks.
How much do those run?
They're not cheap. Maybe like $15 or so. I mean, they're not expensive, but it's just cherries. So maybe $15-20. I get them a couple of times a year on I got it right here on Amazon. Let's see. Oh, I didn't put the price in. Never mind. So I don't know. Just guessing. And then are you a Luxardo cherry fan? Are you a maraschino guy?
Yeah, Luxardo liqueur is really good in certain applications, and like maraschino cherries, like the corn syrup and red food dye version are nowhere near as good as like true Luxardo cherries, true maraschino cherries.
Yeah, and those are the absolute best. Not the neon pink, red hueish ones that you can buy at the grocery store.
For
Although
like 275.
yeah, no, I have seen some of the Luxardo ones at grocery stores, but I don't see it very often.
Um,
All right.
so yeah, I like the hot sauce idea, but like not everybody likes hot sauce. I know plenty of people that can't tolerate even like Tabasco.
Well, or even less, but
Yeah.
obviously you gotta know your audience. And then the last stocking stuffer I have on here is a hand grip little hand exerciser, which I like keeping. I keep in a travel bags when on a plane if I get bored or I just feel like I don't have any blood flow. You give this thing a little squeeze, or I keep one in the car. And I actually have one sitting at the desk. I realized when I wrote it down that there was one here because sometimes I'm sitting at the desk for so long. I'm like, I need something to move in my body, and I can't get up and take a walk. So these are always good, and they're also super cheap. Do you have any of these?
No,
You ever been a user of these?
no,
You got to try it, man. If you're stuck at a desk for extended amount of time,
that's my life.
yeah. So that's what you need. What else can you think of as stocking stuffers that we've maybe had in the past? Because that's all I got so far for stocking stuffer type ideas. Before we
Not
get into,
original here, but scratch offs.
oh yeah, my family's big fans of scratch offs. I never really, I I just know year after year we're like take like hard losses on the scratch off tickets. So.
Yeah, like the lottery doesn't exist to make people rich. It's for the state to make money. Like you're not, if you're buying lotto tickets with the expectation of coming out on top of it, then you are an idiot. Like you buy a lotto ticket or you buy scratch offs because it's fun, not because you're going to make money.
Fair enough. And there's
But
a bit of
race
excitement.
11 with the superfecta.
Are you talking about what I'm thinking you're talking about?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's pay off our college. Let's pay off our college tuition for this semester in this one race. It'll work.
Yeah. For some context, we have a friend that was trying to afford his tuition for the semester, and he took what he had and he put it all on one race, which didn't and it wasn't like an easy like decent chance bet. It was like one in like 14 million.
It was like a 14 or 15 horse race, and he needed to get the top 4 finishers correct.
I don't know the different permutations of that, but he didn't win, so he didn't either.
No, I was party to that entire day, and it's one of my favorite stories because I actually ended up like making 20 or 30 bucks that day.
Oh man. All right. So back to the meat and potatoes, or let's start the meat and potatoes here.
Yeah, don't put meat and potatoes in a stocking.
No, and by meat and potatoes, I mean like the real gifts that are going to be boxed and wrapped, and you also don't want to put meat and potatoes in those boxes.
No.
Have you ever
hold on. I got one last idea for stocking stuffers.
What's that?
I don't know where you fall on this one.
Right.
Condoms.
Yeah, well, depending on who you're giving them to, I think it kind of wouldn't be a bad idea. One thing if it's your significant other, unless you're like trying to imply that they're cheating, like because if you're seeing somebody and you think maybe they're cheating and you give them condoms, like that's probably not a great look. I don't know, to each their own on that, but yeah, that's not bad depending on your audience.
Yo, I got one more that I think could fit in the stocking. I don't know if you have one of these. One of those infrared laser thermometers. Have you seen these?
No, what is it? What does it do?
So it's a thermometer that you don't need to touch anything with. You just point it and shoot, and it'll tell you the temperature of what it's aimed at.
Oh, the ones that they have you do to go into stores.
Yeah, but like they're more general purpose. So like the one that I have is not good enough to measure like a body temperature accurately. Like it'll spit out like 96 or 97 or something, so it'll be close, but it's not enough to say like whether or not someone has a fever. It's not reliable enough for that, but it's really useful in a ton of different ways. I would say probably the number one would be for cooking,
Okay.
because you want to know what temperature you're cooking something at, and like a food thermometer, you might not necessarily want to like actually touch what you're cooking.
Yeah. Well, that'll give you the external temperature. It's not going to give you the internal temperature, but
No, but like if you're doing like a soup or anything like that, or you want to know like the temperature of water, like if you're making tea and you don't have something that'll tell you exactly what it is, some teas need to be at like boiling, some are at like 170. That's a big difference. And if you were to ask me to look at boiling water and say, is that 109 degrees or 209 degrees? I'd have no idea. But my thermometer would.
it would definitely give you a good indicator which side of that was on. Yeah, I see they sell them at Home Depot too, but for the most part, I saw them a lot in New York City when you were going into restaurants where the owners and
Yeah,
managers were.
those ones probably don't have the same range. Those are probably going to be tuned to try and like be really good at like maybe between 90 and 110, whereas mine will measure from like -50 to like 800, but it's not super accurate.
Different application. All right.
Uh,
So
here's another interesting one that they use them in just because is motorsports. So when a car comes off the track and they want to see whether or not like the tire like toe and camber is correct,
mhm.
then they can measure the temperature of the tire, and they'll measure like the inner, middle, and outer of the tire with like one of these IR guns, and they'll see like, is the tire rubbing more on the inside or the outside.
I like that. I like that. All right. So that I don't think that needs to be a stocking stuffer. Depending on who you're giving it to, they might appreciate that as a legit, as a real gift.
It's just all sorts of uses. Like when you're at, if you're trying to like fix problems with like home heating or whatever, you can see like if the air's coming out cold and like.
Yeah, that's a decent gift. But I think that should be a meat and potatoes. I don't think that should be a stocking stuffer next to your
It's
condom.
small enough to fit in a stocking though.
All right, and then next one. So first one I have is the Tile Bluetooth clip-on locators, like a little Bluetooth clip-on locator. May not be a bad idea for your keys or something that you often lose. Have you seen these? I haven't had any experience with it. Just this is not from a past list, actually.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's a little Bluetooth type device that I don't know how it charges or stays charged or whatever, but I guess, or it reacts somehow with Bluetooth, and you can locate your stuff. So you put it on your keys, and then if you drop your keys somewhere, it'll tell you where your keys are. And I think it works kind of publicly with Bluetooth. I don't know how that works, but for the people who know who it is, or who know what it is, and you know someone who might like it, that's a good gift idea for you this year. And they make them in packs. You can get like a 4-pack or a 5-pack.
Nah, I'm against anything tracking. Like, yeah, just to give you an example, I was on the phone with my insurance company last week, changing the coverage and asking for some more discounts. And at the end, the lady's like, "Have you heard about our such and such app?" And I was like, "No, but I have an idea what it is." She's like, "Yeah, like, it tracks your speed and everything else." I was like, "You couldn't pay me to have that on my phone."
Yeah, there's
Like,
no way.
your 10% discount doesn't scratch the surface of how much you would need to throw me to have something like that while I'm driving.
Yeah, that's I don't need the insurance company. Now I'm doing 140 miles an hour. That's no, thank you. I don't want the cops to know that either. Not that I drive 140 miles an hour. I mean, like,
Anymore.
on takeoff or landing of a plane. So now I have basic bar tools, like that little bar set that you have that has the little jigger, the stirring spoon, the masher. You know the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah, so muddler, a set of tins, like 2-prong, 4-prong strainer, jigger.
Yeah, just the basic stuff. And I think that if somebody doesn't have that stuff already, it's just good to have, because even if you don't use that stuff very often, you may have a party or some guests over and somebody wants to make a drink. I have a feeling it'll get used.
You know what else is really nice, and they're not expensive, is like a small set or like a single ceramic knife.
Okay, so that's actually that's on my list. Actually, I have some kitchen items on the list, and we can revisit it. But one of my kitchen items was just a badass kitchen knife.
Well, the thing is, like, ceramic knives are really good, but they have limited applications. Like you don't want to use them if you're trying to like carve up a chicken or something because they'll chip on the bone. They're really good for like slicing fruit and vegetables, but you want to have like a really good like 6-inch chef knife and like carbon steel or something for.
Well, that's kind of that's more so what I'm talking about. But
But
so
you can
you're
get like
saying
a cheap like 4 or 6-inch ceramic knife for like 30 or 40 bucks, and they're amazing for like cutting fruit and vegetables and stuff. I brought one. It was part of my everyday carry kit to the bar. Like that was what I used to cut fruit because it was better than the crappy bar knife that we had. And the other bonus is since it's ceramic, like it'll never rust or anything else. And so um if the fruit sat in the fruit tray for like a day or two, it wouldn't start to like turn different colors because there was no residue from the knife left on the fruit.
interesting. Yeah, that's a good one. I'll have to start looking at some ceramic knives. But you think they don't last as long and are not as
No, they'll
maintainable?
last just as long as a regular knife. Um, the the thing is you can't sharpen them, so like once they go dull, you just toss them. But it's that they damage easily because they're brittle. They're ceramic compared to metal. So like if you use them, like you don't want to. If you're cutting on like a metal or like a rock countertop, like a quartz countertop or something, you'll chip them. You need to use a cutting board, and you can't use them to like cut through like bone or like any like chopping.
Anything hard, yeah. No,
But
okay.
like slicing, they're better than any knife that you'll get.
So yeah, that's on the list this year. Might be on my wish list. And then I got a decanter, and not a super cheap decanter with like plastic. It's got to be like a all. It can have a little rubber on it, but it's got to be an all glass, decent weight to it, nice decanter. Because they make some kind of cheapish sets, but I'm a big fan of a nicely weighted decanter. Thoughts on? You have a decanter at home?
No.
No? Oh man, you gotta get a decanter. It just looks cool. You fill it up 2/3 of the way, 3/4 of the way, and just leave it there. It's nice looking. Then you can get a little bar tray, and you can put the decanter on there and a couple of glasses. I'm pretty sure that was well, one of my favorite gifts to have ever gotten. So it's a good gift to give. And then I have just Flask bar related items. You have a Flask?
I do, but I don't like. First of all, I don't ever go out.
What about a wedding? Would you bring a Flask to a wedding?
In my entire adult life, I've been to 1.5 weddings.
You got to go out more, meet some more people, more people meeting other people. They get married, you go to their weddings. But I think a Flask is a must bring to a wedding and any other event where there's no open bar. So Flask, I would definitely advise a good gift. And then I was trying, and this is kind of me thinking forward to the 2021 gift guide is something vintage, because I was thinking it's going to be tough to find new items, right? So if you want to get somebody something solid, right? Like maybe you don't want to drop 25 grand on a Rolex watch, but maybe you could find a nice vintage Rolex for like 6 or 7 grand. Or maybe like some leather.
Yeah, that's a casual gift.
Well, it depends on who you're giving the gift to. But something, like a nice leather jacket or a duffel bag or something like that. I'd rather somebody spend $500 on a $2,000 item for me, as long as it's in good shape and clean and not smelly, than somebody spend $500 on a $500 item for me.
Well, you tell me where you can get $2,000 items for $500, and I'm going to turn that into a business.
That's Facebook Marketplace, eBay, Craigslist. It's just called used items, but you got to be careful when you're buying used stuff. That's why I said finding something vintage is nice. You just got to be, and also not everybody wants like a used leather jacket or a used pair of sunglasses or something.
A concealed gun drawer that opens up secretly. That requires a number of steps. First, they have to own guns, which.
Well, also you're giving it to them, so you know what.
But like, how do you go into their desk and be like, "Yeah, you see this drawer? Yeah, we're gonna make some modifications to that."
Well, they make like shelves that have like hidden compartments, or they make books, and with like sought out pages. That's all that I always thought was
Yeah,
pretty cool.
I always thought that any of that is stupid. Like if you have a gun, then like putting it in some place that's extremely difficult to get to defeats the purpose.
Well, I've seen they have these what do you call them, like a heat register, like a heat vent, and there's no heat vent behind it. It just folds out, and then you can keep stuff in there. And maybe if you were somebody that wanted to keep a gun near your bedside, may not be a bad idea. So, but Ryan's going to send a link. So I like the vintage idea. I had a watch or some leather clothing or just general clothing, leather goods like duffel bag, and then I had a record console. I've seen a lot of refurbished record consoles, and didn't we pick up a record console at some point when I lived in South Carolina?
I don't remember. I
I
know we
think
had like a typewriter that didn't work.
I think we briefly had a record console that had the built-in speakers, but it didn't work. So, but I'm actually looking for one of those. I'd like to use it as like a base for under a TV. Like you put a TV on the wall, then underneath you have the record console, and it actually works. I think that would be pretty cool as long as it's in good shape.
Rosh says a cast iron skillet, which I also agree with. Cast irons are really handy.
Oh, also on my list. If and again, it depends. So now I have a glass cooktop because I have electric in this house and not gas. So if I had gas, I could do flame, and then I could do a cast iron pan. But I can still use that cast iron pan in the oven, and I can bake with it, and it makes some really good stuff. Plus,
You can use a cast iron on an electric range.
yeah, but not a glass top. And there's a
I
glass
do.
uh, you're not supposed to scratch the finish. But
I
I've
didn't
also,
get I didn't get the memo.
well, as long as your finish is good, just keep doing what you're doing. You can also use it on the grill, which is pretty cool. Last summer we actually got a big grill out here, and you can throw a couple of pans on top of the grill, so that's nice. Let me I guess I'll just skip. What else did I have for kitchen stuff? I had a salt block to cook on. Hopefully no one in my family listens to this episode, but I'm pretty sure a few like 10 years ago, I got my sister a big solid piece of salt, and you put meat or something in the oven on it, and you cook that. And it definitely gives the meat a decent flavor, and obviously some salt. But then my sister didn't want it and gave it to my mom. And then my mom just told me she's coming down for Thanksgiving and she's going to bring me this salt block that my sister gave her. So somehow it's coming full circle or full triangle back to me. So
Modesty says that I'm an amazing a true philanthropist. I'm not really sure what that means. Like I know the definition of the word, but like how I don't think I've really gone out of my way to be philanthropic in any way.
I don't
like
know.
to know where that conclusion is, unless she's being sarcastic, in which case I would agree.
I think she might be being a little sarcastic, but I don't know what you said that triggered that. So
No.
the modesty blaze. We want to know why you think James is a true philanthropist. All right, and then so also on kitchen stuff, I've got I got a badass knife, like a chef's knife. Although we'll include the ceramic knife, less expensive it sounds like. Cast iron pan. I have coffee grinder and French press. Because if you're a coffee drinker, grinding your own coffee beans in the morning and then putting them in a French press is a really nice way to have coffee on a nice Saturday or Sunday morning. And then also for kitchen related, I have champagne bucket and stand. You ever seen a little champagne bucket on a stand?
Champagne, yeah, that seems excessive. Like,
it's almost a decoration.
Yeah, and you know me on decoration.
You still have a cardboard box from moving in behind you, so
yeah, exactly.
We know decor is definitely one of your.
Let me put it this way: this is where I am on decoration. I bought a 4-pack of Smile You're on Camera signs. You can kind of see one back there. Like,
and
Guess like so 3 of them are in my room right now because I don't know where to put them. Guess where the 4th is?
No idea.
Take a guess.
On your refrigerator?
No,
No.
in the guest bathroom.
That's mean. It's nice. I do think you should put one in the refrigerator too.
I might, but I bought 4 of them because it was like $8, and like I don't know what I'm gonna do with the other 3, but I know exactly where the first one's going.
All right, let's see.
Just so that way, anybody who comes over here, if they had any doubt as to whether or not I took things seriously in life, they wouldn't after going to the bathroom.
Or that you take things very serious and you're just a fucking creep. They're either hopefully they know you and they understand one, you have no recording devices in your house, but who knows?
But what if they were saying, "What's with the sign on there?" Like, were you able to see the camera? I thought I hit it really well.
Yeah, you're gonna fuck with some people. That's not nice. All right, let's see what I got. Next I had.
Well, Modesty Blaze says a spice rack, which I actually think is a really good idea for someone who doesn't have one. Because I just spent like 20 minutes earlier today reorganizing like my pantry area, and I don't have a spice rack. And I was thinking, man, I wish I had a better way of storing all these things.
So you gotta go.
I'm serious too.
You gotta go to like a Home Goods or like a TJ Maxx type place, and they have them with the spices there. Really,
for like $8.
Really good deals. Well, yeah, you get some good deals. All right, now I have something dressy. So, and this goes either way for your significant other. So,
and Mirage is like a lazy Susan, one of the ones that spins.
That's nice. So something dressy, and if you're giving to a guy something like a tie, it'll encourage maybe like a little date night. But more importantly, what I think we need, especially this year, is encouraging people to dress up and dress respectfully. Some collared shirts, little tie on. If you buy somebody a tie, you can kind of you can say to them a couple weeks or a couple months later, hey, why don't you dress up nice and throw that tie on? I always like a nice tie, and I think it makes a great gift. If people didn't gift me ties, I probably wouldn't wear them as often as I do. So,
dude, I can't remember the last time I wore a tie.
Well, you got to find an event to go to where you got to throw a tie on.
I don't leave the house.
All right, so that's the idea. So if you're listening and you're dating James, buy him something and then tell him he's got to put it on and leave the house. All right.
Yeah, if you buy me a tie, I'd just be like, first of all, I've got like 60 of these, and second of all, have you been paying attention to anything I've said over the last 4 months?
All right, let's see what else I have here.
Yeah, Raj is asking me if it was at the job interview. My job interview was conducted by a cell phone, and it started with the COO of my company asking me if that's what my proctologist said back to me. I said he pays me.
All right. I don't know if anybody's getting these jokes. So my next one, and this I had last year, was a jumpstart box, was a little battery power charger to jumpstart your car. And
those things work really well.
As we're going into the winter season, definitely good to have. I started the pickup truck this morning after not having driven it anywhere in like 2 weeks. Luckily, it started up. But as we go into the winter season, it gets colder, so dead batteries. But also because you can't even buy a new car these days. People are driving cars a little bit longer, so having a jumpstart box is definitely not a bad thing to keep charged up and keep in your garage or your trunk or something.
Yo, to go alongside one of those, like a plug-in DC air compressor.
Oh yeah, the ones that plug into the cigarette lighter in your car.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as long as you don't have a dead battery and a flat tire.
Well, if you have a dead battery but you've got the jump starter, then you're back in business.
True, yeah, exactly. But you got to have the whole pack. But the inflator that goes into the cigarette lighter is nice. I actually came back from a trip, and I had parked in the airport garage, and I had a flat tire, so that was not cool. But I had a little charger inflator that went into the cigarette lighter and pumped the tire up until I could find a tire shop near JFK Airport. All right, then I got a blood alcohol content tracker. I heard
those cause problems.
Well, what? Because people try to blow it to get the highest numbers. Is that where you're going with that?
That's exactly where I'm going.
Well, the idea is
Is
that
who's going for the high score?
the idea is that you keep it in your glove box. That's the idea.
By the time you get there, it's already too late.
Well, probably true. I'd like to check the morning after.
Yeah. I mean, really, if you're gonna get one of those, you really have to go with my idea, which bring it to a bar, bring it to a party, and it's a fun toy. Although in the days of coronavirus, it's a little bit less palatable because now you've got people indirectly swapping spit. But I guarantee if you bring one of those to a crowded bar or a party or whatever, everyone will want to talk to you.
Yeah, everybody's gonna run blow into your little thing. Then I got basically money clip. A nice money clip is always nice for extra cash. A lot of people these days using a card holder and cash separately instead of stuffing it all into one wallet.
I'm using the same wallet I've used for almost 20 years.
Oh, it's time for an upgrade. We got to get you out of the house, man. Spending some real cashola. Want to say hi to Lisa. Welcome, Lisa. We want to know the best past Christmas gifts. So yeah, money clip and a card holder is nice. So if you're giving James a gift, that's what he needs. And then
see, I like a wallet better than a money clip because I keep my wallet in my back pocket, and sitting on something like plastic and pointy doesn't sound fun.
So the idea is that the money clip goes in your front pants pocket with your cash, and then you have a thin card holder in your back pocket. So you're not sitting on. I mean, I only keep credit card, a debit card, my license with me. So card holder stays pretty thin. I don't need to have my rewards card, my gym card, and all the other 16 different credit cards in my wallet at one time. So it keeps things pretty slim. And Rosh is a fan of the wallet that blocks people from hacking your credit cards. You familiar with this?
No.
It's called the RFID wallet, and it basically blocks magnetic something from your wallet and people stealing your information. I'm all for people. If somebody wants to throw some charges on my card that I can't account for, I'm actually cool with that. Maybe I'll lump in a few more charges when I'm arguing with the bank. So I mean, it's never happened to me, but it's always been my plan. I'm like, oh yeah, that one for $600 for some TV in Egypt, that wasn't me. And also Chick-fil-A for $16, that wasn't me either. And it's kind of good on the list from there. I got two more, which I think are cool, and they're two party-based ideas. I got a poker chip set, which is cool. I think if you have,
I have one, love it.
If you have
very rarely use it, but it's cool.
Yeah, you have people over. You don't have to use it all the time, but it's just a cool thing to have. And then a Polaroid camera. You have a little party, you get a new pack of film, you throw the camera on the table, and at the end of the party, you got some kind of cool little flimsy Polaroids shuffling around on the table and countertops. And
I don't want a record of my activities.
People really dig that stuff. So, dude, you sound like you're doing some really bad stuff in that house.
No. What I really need to do is just get like an industrial supply of tinfoil, so that way I never run out of hats.
Well, I think you got to get out of the house. So maybe you can wear your tinfoil hats outside of the house. Yeah, you need to talk about why people can't have things that you can get to use. Hold on, let me read this comment.
I think she's going. Oh yeah, you read it, and then I think I know what she's talking about.
Okay, I don't, but Modesty Blaze said, yeah, you need to talk about why people can't get the things I like. They used to even to buy a used car. My friend can't get one.
I think she's talking about just general supply chain issues right now, like why so many things are out of stock, which we kind of touched on a little bit earlier in the cast today. But I think that might be an interesting full-on podcast topic of what is going on right now with supply chain and logistics, and why can't you get things?
Yeah, no, because we've talked about it a little bit, but it is a serious problem, and that's why we're just bringing this stuff up ahead of our 2021 gift guide, because people need some ideas, and now is the time to now's the time to be making some online purchases, because there's going to be some serious
So
Serious
Lisa's got
over-
a good idea. She's talking about she bought tickets for a concert for her friend for birthday or Christmas or whatever. So like concert tickets are actually a great gift.
Yeah, I'd say they're very good, especially if you can get a ticket for yourself. So it's like a double gift. So you get to go to that
Well,
concert.
yeah, like you'd be like, you're going, you're going to this concert, and I'm coming too. Oh, never mind. I'm not as interested anymore.
No, but I think it's good. Also, a lot of times you just buy somebody tickets for something, they may not go, and now you just tickets are not cheap, so it's good if you're there to corral them back into that activity. Should I do a
And
fast?
speaking of getting out of the house, I actually bought concert tickets for myself for a show in San Diego in like 2 months. So,
Dude, you got to get out of the house. We got to get you out, bringing your flask somewhere. You got to go to some weddings. Got to meet some people.
I'll be in New York next week.
You got to do some. You got to do some shopping in the stores.
Why would I do that?
Because we got to get you out. You got to meet some people and and I'm not gonna say it. You can talk about your stickers.
The chorus of people saying you need to get out more grows louder by the week.
Yeah, now that you work from home. All right, let me do a quick recap and then we'll wrap here. Stocking stuffers, Rain-X, ice molds, magnetic wristband for holding magnetic things like screws, shaving brush, hot sauce, scratch off tickets, playing cards, Luxardo cherries, hand grip exercises. And then you had, as we segued into the kind of bigger ticket items, you had the remote thermometer.
And ceramic knives.
And was there a better?
It's a like infrared thermometer.
Infrared thermometer. And then we got into the meat and potatoes here. We got the Tile, the Bluetooth locator device. Basic bar tools, so you can get a little bar set. If you just go to bar set on Amazon, you get a whole list of stuff. Decanter,
Barsupplies.com. Go there.
Those are big supporters of Trump, by the way.
Barsupplies.com are?
Yeah.
Well,
I think the owner of barsupplies.com was at the January 6th. All right, let me hit the rest of this list. So we'll talk. Basic bar tools, decanter, shaker, mixer, flask. Always good to have a flask wherever you're going. That's probably not going to be in your basic bar supplies. Something vintage, a vintage record player console, anything that requires thought about that person, but that's vintage. People really appreciate that stuff. A vintage watch, vintage clothing, like a band T-shirt or a leather duffel bag. Something dressy like a tie to encourage people to get out, be self-respecting, get dressed up, and go do something classy. The Jumpstart box, the battery pack to charge your battery if your battery dies. And we had, on that note, we had the inflatable. We had the
DC inflator.
DC inflator that plugs into your cigarette lighter in your car. And Rosh mentioned that little device that you can break your windows if you get stuck underwater. Maybe throw it on your keychain or something. I'm not a huge fan of that, but if where people carry Purell around with them, you might as well carry.
I mean, that's planning for failure. That's dumber than even regular planning.
Well, I think that's decent planning actually, but I don't have one, so I never really thought to buy one. Let me wrap through the rest of these. Blood alcohol tracker, also in the line of automobile accessories.
Yeah, sure. Call it that.
And then I got a money clip, Polaroid camera, poker chip set, and then we get into the kitchen stuff, and I had a champagne bucket / stand and coffee grinder and French press, and then I had a badass chef's knife, and then you added a ceramic knife, just not for cutting meats, for cutting fruits. And we had cast iron pan and a salt block to cook on. And I think that kind of wraps our coverage of past Christmas gifts. So you have to tune in for one of the next episodes, catch our 2021 gift guide, all updated, and we'll try to include things that you can get relatively quickly this year because we know everything is delayed. Anything you want to add before we are out?
Nah.
Nah. All right, cool. Thank you for everything. I want to thank Rosh Galeb for manning the comments, feeding us your guys' comments. As we are here live, we can't stay on top of Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. He's feeding us your comments. So thank you, Rosh. Thank you guys for joining. We will see you next time. Adios.
that concludes this episode. Let me know what I left out. Let me know what you liked out of this gift guide. And don't forget, you can check out on LinkedIn my annual holiday gift giving guide. There's been one since 2015. So check out my LinkedIn, add me on LinkedIn, and see you guys next time.
I like PBR. I just got priced out of it.